Hi, I'm Jeannie Murphy. This is Princeton Community Television. It's talented people. Thanks for watching in. We have one of our guests back again. We just enjoy having her here so much. Her name's Michele Siekerka, and she is the president and CEO of the New Jersey Business and Industry Association. Thanks so much for coming back. It's always so good to see you.
It's great to see you too, Jeannie.
Yeah, so okay, let's start over because it was about a year ago that you were here last. And everybody
Time
here,
flies.
It does fly, right?
Yeah,
it flies. And it's kind of funny because our executive director was one who said, when is Michele coming back? We have to have her back on the show so we can hear what's going on with the state of New Jersey. So bring us up to date.
Wow, what's happened in the last year. So we have a new administration, of course, Governor Murphy. And the dynamics are quite interesting in Trenton. We just went through the budget season. And, you know, the budget season is a time when everybody kind of holds on because you never know what to expect. You know, you start with one type of budget proposal, and then as the legislature and the governor get into negotiations, especially in the 11th hour to avoid a shutdown, the dynamics get pretty wild, and you never know what's going to be thrown in at the end that could be a surprise. So I'll talk a little bit about what happened in budget and the impact to business community. So first of all, we can't look at the budget and what came out of the budget in a silo, because we have a whole stream of policy and employer mandates and things that have happened over the last 6 months that unfortunately continue to put a cost of doing business, a higher burden on business. You know, we had the paid sick leave bill passed, okay, and now that's in effect for business across the state. The pay equity bill passed. Now, while I'm a firm advocate for pay equity, I mean, I'm a woman, I get it, okay? But the penalty provisions in it were the strongest in the nation. And some of the reporting requirements in it cause companies to have to go back and, you know, redo their back office in order to support the types of reporting requirements. Same with paid sick leave. Even companies that had sick leave before, you have to report it in a certain way. So, you know, every time you have to change your back office system, that is an increase in doing business, right?
Right.
We had some energy bills early in the year that were subsidies for nukes and a green energy bill that, while these are important things, it's billions of dollars of increased cost in energy. So that's what was on the heels of when we came into the budget season. So in the budget season, we heard from the very beginning that we were going to be getting a tax increase of some sort. Now, Jeannie, this is New Jersey. We are already the highest tax state in the nation.
How much more can we take?
So why are we talking about raising taxes versus addressing spending?
Right.
Certainly that was our message through the whole process.
Of course.
And we know there's areas we can address spending. But unfortunately, in the 11th hour, the battle became, are we going to increase tax on corporations, corporate business tax increase, which is what Senator Sweeney and the legislature was proposing, and Governor Murphy was proposing a tax on millionaires. Well, we know a tax on millionaires is a tax on small business because many New Jersey companies that are S Corp or LLC or partnerships flow their income from their companies through their personal return.
Right, right.
Neither of those is a good case for New Jersey business. CBT hits our big companies where we're vulnerable already for big companies locating, you know, in other places. Millionaires tax is we don't want to be losing our S Corps, and honestly, we should be proud of making millionaires in the state of New Jersey.
Right.
High cost state. We should enjoy reaping the return of the tax on those millionaires, not making it a higher burden for those millionaires so that they might be apt to leave also.
Exactly.
Right? So what did we end up with in the 11th hour? We ended up with a smattering of both and a little more.
Okay.
You know, there was an increase in the corporate business tax for 4 years. They call it a surcharge as opposed to a tax because it will sunset after 4 years.
That's good.
2.5 years in the, 2% in the first 2 years. 2.5% in the first 2 years and 1.5% in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Still an impact to business. That got mitigated from where it was. It was up to 4.5%.
Wow.
So we got the amount down, but still an impact. That bill, the corporate business tax bill, is very, very complex when you talk about corporate tax because there's these provisions in there about repatriation. We're not even going to go to what it means, but it has
thank God
it has a very, very significant impact on the bottom line for New Jersey corporations. Not good language. We again got it mitigated from something worse before, but we're going to live with that for a few years. We also got an increase on millionaires, but at 5 million and above.
Oh,
so again, mitigating.
That's good.
However, I would still suggest I'd be very concerned about outmigration. Why would someone who has the ability, clearly, if they have the money, to take up residence outside the state?
Why would they stay?
It's like we invite them to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Right.
So the budget battle was a little tough. In the end, you know, it did land where we were trying to see it not land, which is on the back of business. Now, this 4-year period, when we testified and we explained, please don't continue to raise taxes on the back of business because we're vulnerable today in the state of New Jersey. We were told, we hear you, but we need a few years to take care of our structural deficits in the state of New Jersey. We need to do some planning. This is what the legislature said in response to our testimony. So now it's incumbent upon us to go back to those legislators and ensure that starting today, right now, we start addressing comprehensive tax reform in the state of New Jersey, and we get it done in the next couple of years.
So let me just ask a question about the 4 years, like you said. Can they go to the 3rd year and then go, oops, now we want to make sure that this continues another 4 years? Or do they have to stay with the 4 years? Because I know that's a tough question, but if you guys weren't advocating to keep them on track, you know, it's nothing's free, right? Nothing's certain.
No, and of course they can absolutely they can go and extend it, they can increase it, they can decrease it. Every budget year they have the ability to.
How do you guys keep up? How do you even, like you say, it's confusing to read in the first place, right? Now, you are an attorney anyway, but beyond all your other expertises.
Well, I'm not a tax attorney, and nor would I ever purport to understand, you know, tax, especially corporate tax. We are very fortunate at BIA. We have a group of tax professionals, tax attorneys and accountants within our corporations and our members who actually came out during the budget process and worked on the language tirelessly. We had a handful of tax experts at the State House all weekend before 4th of July working on the language to ensure that whatever the final bill was, they understood the ramifications to New Jersey business because the language before had unintended consequences in it.
I mean, honestly, it really is important that everybody knows how much you guys do, because if you weren't doing it, and I've been watching you do this for the last, how many years now have you been the CEO?
Be 4 years in October, which I can't believe.
So I think you've been on here 4 times telling everybody, and it's so great. We love having you, and we love your personality, the way you represent. I'm speaking for behalf of New Jersey businesses and those that are thanking you again for just representing the best interests and seeing both sides of the fence, so to speak.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I have great respect for the vision that Governor Murphy has for the state of New Jersey. Who doesn't want free education from pre-K to community college?
Yes,
I do.
Right.
I'm an advocate of workforce. So of course I want that, right?
Yes.
We can't afford it right now. You know, the things that he wants to see, we agree with the ultimate vision, but the pathway to get there has to be a slow, responsible one. And it can't be that we tax our way. We can't tax our way out of our structural deficits in the state of New Jersey. We need to go back and look at pension and healthcare reform. That albatross around our neck, You know, there was a report, the Byrne-Healy report, that came out, I think it's now 3 years ago, that suggested we could save over $1 billion if we take the retiree health benefit plan from a platinum to a gold. Just to a gold,
Wow.
And if we restructure the pension to go into a 401k as opposed to defined benefit, that's what's happening across the country with corporate America.
Right.
From every size business, right? Those types of plans don't exist anymore because they're ill affordable. And to require and make New Jersey taxpayers continue to shoulder that type of responsibility and burden by way of taxes to afford programs that aren't found anywhere else really isn't fair, not just to our businesses, but to all of our taxpayers in the state of New Jersey.
Right, absolutely. Let's talk about, you were talking a little bit about the workforce development, and I also want to talk about the millennial outmigration and some positive stuff, hopefully, about our state. So.
Well, so workforce development, we're very proud to be a strong convener and facilitator of a discussion around workforce development in the state of New Jersey. So we had a summit back in 2017 was last year. I still can't believe we're in 18 and we're going to run into the end of 18 already, right?
No.
So we had a summit in 2017, which was all about the issues surrounding millennial outmigration. Now, that's certainly not a positive. Why did we hit on millennial outmigration? Because we'd been studying outmigration patterns now for the last 3 years. And we found that the number one outmigration group leaving the state of New Jersey are our 18 to 34-year-olds. This has been a pattern over the last 10 years, Why are we concerned about that? They're our future workforce.
Right.
And we're concerned about it also because we're number one in the nation in property tax. For that property tax, we afford a wonderful K-12 education program. Maybe the best in the nation. We're very proud of our K-12 education. It comes at a cost of about $20,000 per pupil per year, on average, times 13 years, kindergarten to 12. Add up that. That's a lot of money. That's a huge investment that you're asking from, again, New Jersey property owners and taxpayers, right? For that now asset that we invested those 13 years in, at that amount of money, to leave the state of New Jersey, hello?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that a red flag?
Come back.
Exactly.
We put a lot of work into bringing you up in here, and don't you love it?
And we do that because they're our future workforce.
Right.
But then we lose that return on investment if they leave the state of New Jersey.
And especially for the qualifications that they have, that they could take somewhere else.
Exactly. So we got into actions. That's what we do at BIA, right? We don't just, we don't whine. We're solution driven. We bring people together and we problem solve. So we created a post-secondary education task force, which has involved over 100 people from every sector you can think of. So we have state government involved. We have K-12 education, community college, career and technical education, public and private 4-year, our nonprofits, and millennials, and of course our members.
Yes.
Sitting around and saying, what are we going to do about ensuring that we have attractability and affordability in post-secondary education in the state of New Jersey? Number one, to get our kids attracted to our own universities to stay here for their college experience.
Right.
Make it affordable, but also traditional workforce development, in that we need to take a look back on the role of skill building in traditional skill building for the trades, that are the types of jobs that are middle-level income jobs that afford a wage that allows you to live, work, and raise family in New Jersey.
Okay.
Can
you give us an example?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have 44,000 vacant jobs in the state of New Jersey today.
What?
In middle-level skill. These are like technical jobs that you don't need a 4-year degree for.
Okay.
You need some type of a certification, a piece of paper that says, I know how to build, fix, or operate that widget. You can get a job tomorrow.
Wow.
And these are well-paying jobs.
Right.
So that's the career and technical education pathway that we've steered students away from for the last decade or two. I'm guilty of this as my generation and my children coming up. I demanded to my kids, I commanded to them, you must go to 4-year in order to be something in life. Well, we believe in lifelong learning and continuing to enrich ourselves, right? But you can learn and earn along the way.
Sure. And people can also find out what they really like in their life as far as passion goes for their work. Maybe they don't know when they're so young.
Well, absolutely. and right there, and we know how many kids look at the dropout rate in college. It's sad. Those kids drop out with debt because it's so expensive. They lose their confidence and they lose a couple of years in the workforce.
Yeah.
And now you've got kids in their mid-20s rebuilding themselves and starting anew. Whereas if we would have in their late teens,
encourage them to just start swimming slow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And earn and learn along the way.
Yeah.
The path would be better.
And then be paid enough to be able to stay here and enjoy
exactly
the beautiful state.
Exactly.
So, but what they do is they're going and they were forced into the education system, and we've got our investment out there, and then they're making decisions to go to a cheaper state to live.
Right.
And then we go back to square one.
And oftentimes if they leave for higher ed or they leave for opportunity, they don't come back.
Yeah, because they just move away, and then they've cut the apron string, so to speak, and then they're on their way.
So, but just that task force, we issued a report just about a month or two ago that has 13 recommendations.
Okay.
And now the task force is broken down into 4 sub-teams under the recommendations, and we'll have further white papers coming out this fall on how do we, again, attractability, affordability, pure workforce development and skill building, and how do we advance. It doesn't necessarily even require the legislature or state policy. It's really more about how do we bring academia and the workforce together in order to create the in-demand jobs of today and tomorrow.
Right. Well, what about the state and the legislature? Are they behind this as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and not that they've said, hey, BIA, love your report. No, this is where we have extreme commonality with the legislature and the governor.
Thank God.
Absolutely. I mean, there are some bills pending to increase capacity in career and technical education. That's a big issue.
Yeah.
There are bills that have to do with how we articulate education more toward skill building for in-demand jobs, as opposed to just what's the traditional K-12 education look like.
Right.
So those are good examples of where we're all kind of marching to the same tune.
Nice. That's great.
It's great stuff.
So tell us more about NJBIA members too. I want to talk about your Women's Summit, and then also just learned about what are the members saying out there to you.
Yeah. Wow, the members have a lot to say these days.
guess.
You know, I'll just stay for one moment about the members who reached out on the budget and who we heard from and who were concerned. And a couple of examples, just right in this region, in the Princeton, the greater Mercer County area, two great examples. Manufacturing company. Now, you would think a manufacturing company who is well invested because they're affixed, their property is affixed to the real estate, and it's pretty expensive to lift up a manufacturing company and move, right? Well, you know, this manufacturing company, their accountant told them that if you pick up and go over to Pennsylvania, you'll have return on investment for the cost of the move 3 to 5 years.
Oh.
This company plans on being around for a long time.
Yeah.
So 3 to 5 years, like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah, that's a very, very threatening fact.
Yeah.
How do you
It's
deal
a real
with that?
story.
Yeah,
It's a real
that's
story.
no, and I mean honestly,
I know.
how do you if you're a CEO of the company and you're sitting with your board, how can
Exactly.
you not
How can you not do
listen
that?
to that and then consider the options? So how do you stop that?
Right. Well, that's where we come back to like good policy. We need to. These are the stories we told during the budget process, trying to avoid a corporate business tax increase or a millionaire's tax. And one other example is a fourth generation professional services firm. Again, greater Mercer County area, fourth generation professional
100
services
years,
firm.
right?
It's a long time. It's
Yeah,
over 100 years.
yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. This was their home. Same thing. They're getting this pressure on, and this is an LLC, so they would have been affected on the millionaire tax side.
Okay.
All right. Same thing. Professional services, you can go 5 miles right across the river to Bucks County. You're not going to lose your clients. You're not going to lose your employees because it's 5 miles.
Right.
So these are the stories that our policymakers have to listen in earnest to and work with us.
absolutely.
And we're
Yeah.
hoping, again, they said reform is on the way. We're going to hold them to that, and we hope we have a seat at the table to talk about what that reform looks like.
Are there any kind of incentives right now, or are they still talking about the reform to get to kind of an incentive or something? So
Well,
are there
there's-
any ones that could say the same, drawing other companies from outside the state?
Oh, absolutely.
Are they working at all?
Yeah, well, you know, the governor just announced last week that we have a large pharmaceutical company moving to New Jersey. So in the midst of all of this, we have a big company coming up to North Jersey, Teva.
Okay.
And it might be called Teva. I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. But, you know, creating 800 new jobs.
What would make
That's
them do
awesome.
this?
Well, we have great assets in the state of New Jersey. And number one in that assets is a highly skilled workforce.
then
So
we go
while I
back.
talked about workforce a few minutes ago on what we're losing, we, though, on the other side of it, have the most engineers and the most PhDs per square mile in like the whole country.
That's so great.
So a pharmaceutical company is looking for that.
That's just what they need, right?
Sure. And then the other
that's a great
thing-
story.
It is a great story.
Because it is, we do in the trenches, I guess, over here of the property tax owners, business owners, hear mostly bad stories, to be honest with you.
And I
know
tell
you
you-
do too, because that's what your job is to listen
But
to.
I am. But you know what? I like to take that. I make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah,
Okay. I am
yeah.
a glass half full girl. I'm
Yes.
a Jersey girl, and I have a lot of optimism.
Yeah.
But I have to be a realist about where we are, and then we have to say,
Thank God,
okay,
yeah,
how do
'cause
we?
you can't
move the needle?
sugarcoat it, right?
No, exactly.
Right, and it really is true. So yeah, that's a great story, and I'm happy to hear about that again. You want to talk a little bit about the Women's Summit that's coming up in September?
Because let's talk about some positive stuff.
Yes.
Because I don't like when I'm feeling jaded. You know, that's not good, and that's when I say to my team, "Come on, let's get something positive going." So something really positive we do at NJBIA is help to advance discussion around women in the C-suite and the boardroom. Women's leadership is really important. And important for a lot of reasons. Diversity, period, in the C-suite and the boardroom. Everybody knows how important that is. Diversity of opinion around the table leads to good results.
Absolutely.
And companies more and more see that, and you know, shareholders of stock companies see that. You know, we now have shareholders driving diversity in the boardroom from the outside, which is very important.
Yes.
Very important. So how we do that is we have our Women Business Leaders Council, which is a group of phenomenal women in this region who get together about once a quarter to talk about, you know, what type of skill building do we need to continue to make ourselves the best we can be, and what visibility then do we need to those skills to get us in the C-suite and the boardroom. And then once a year we host our summit, which is our big event this year. It's on September 14th. We're hosting it up at the Airport Marriott in Newark, beautiful venue, and nice and accessible for everybody north and, you know, central south to get to. We expect, last year we had over 300, 350. We're expecting a blowout crowd this year because the momentum of this is our fourth annual, just builds from year to year. Bobby Brown is our keynote. We're very excited to have this Jersey girl come and tell her story.
That's the greatest thing, yeah.
So
it's
exciting.
so inspiring.
Awesome. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback for her coming. She's excited to join us as a Jersey girl. And then we have these great panels where we'll hear from female CEOs, women from the boardroom, women in executive level positions. It could be anything from how are you persuasive in negotiation to what are the most effective communication skills, all true skill building to how do I get myself out there?
Right.
You know, how do I get that visibility? I've got the skills, but nobody knows I have them. What's the right way for me to approach getting myself on the radar?
Right.
Because that's really important.
So what about if someone wanted to sign up? What are they? Do they have to be leadership women, or do they have to be executives? Can managers come? What level? And do they have to be a member of NJBIA? And how do they go about registering?
So all of the above, as well as men, are invited.
Yeah,
okay?
I love the men. I love when the men show up because I think they're smart, and I feel the support.
Well, I love the story of, we do have men come, and the program is built, even though it's the Women Business Leaders Summit, the program is built around all skills and attributes that men need as well.
Of course.
And the best is, you know, one of our own men who's on my staff, who does our videography, last year, he said he was so happy to be there because he got like 3 nuggets out of it that he put into play the following week.
Sure.
In his own skill building, his own behavior, etc. So, you know, hey, we want everybody to be a member, right? But non-members, of course, are welcome. But members, the cost is less, you know, for them to come. We want men, we want women, and of every level, because the idea here at this event is hear from the top so that you can be informed on how you get yourself to the top.
Right.
This isn't just a round table of,
you need a leader so you can be inspired and learn from.
Right. And we all, and those of us who are fortunate enough to be in the C-suite, this is our chance and our obligation to reach back and bring, you know, the next generation behind.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was actually at one of your recent events for the Women's Summit Committee planning meeting or so on, and I wanted everybody to know that, like you said, it's quantity over quality. But it was
quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity, but it was both.
Yeah.
Because it was only like 45 women, but literally I made relationship connections with at least 10 people just in 45 minutes. And that was a couple weeks ago, and I'm still in communication with them. And it's just
shout out to Mercadian and Marguerite Mount, who did a great job with her team.
Did a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that place is lovely. And don't forget their financial planning. And Ken Kamen, New Jersey 101.5s.
Yeah.
Guy. Well, anyway, we have 5 minutes left, so I just wanted to ask you if there's anything else you'd like to tell us, and also, what about you? What's your future looking like for next year?
Yeah, so we're very busy at NJBIA. We have a lot of new exciting initiatives underway. I'll share with you that this year, for the first time in our 105 years of existence, we've been able to bring a new product to our members, and it's a health benefit solution program.
Oh.
Our members, every year when we survey, they tell us that the number one business issue they have is the cost of healthcare, and ensuring that they can provide a competitive and cost-effective product for themselves and their employees.
Sure.
So finally, we were able to join a multiple employer welfare arrangement plan.
Cool.
MIWA is called.
Oh, okay.
What this does is it allows our members to come into a pool of other companies.
Like a consortium,
exactly.
Or like a buying group type thing.
And you know, in insurance, the bigger the pool, the lower the risk.
Of course, and the lower the rates.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. And so we are now a part of Association Master Trust is the name of the MIWA. We've had about 1,000 members seek information on it, and about 500 join.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
That's
this is just since
impressive.
January.
Wow, that's really great.
Well, this is how much in demand this product is.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I was going to also ask you, like, all of what you're doing, when it comes down to the changes in the budget reform and everything else, how do these employers stay up with it as well and make sure that within a timely manner they're able to change? I mean, you must provide so much education to them, keeping them on track.
We do. So exactly, we're their go-to resource. Whether you have, and I'll run through it, our Member Action Center. Okay, so we can help you answering compliance questions with all the new laws that are out there. We've done a series of programs which were sold out on these changes, on these mandates, in terms of what do you do around earned sick leave and changes in pay equity. I mean, these are really big issues that require everyone's attention who owns a company. We have 3 legal hotlines where you can get 30 minutes of free legal consultation every month.
Yeah.
Okay. One is HR, one is on corporate contract and dispute issues, and others on general corporate issues.
Wow.
All right. people need to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
We're looking to create a multiple employer 401k product for our members.
Nice.
Again, how many small companies want to offer that product to their employees but can't afford to?
Exactly.
So what we're doing is we're mitigating the increased cost of doing business that's created over here by bringing cost-saving benefits to our members over here.
So great.
It's
oh my
really
God.
important.
Yeah, no, it's really important, and it's real money.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like the investment in your membership to NJBIA pays for itself on the first day.
Yeah, well, if you just think about those free legal hotlines, I'm an attorney.
Yeah.
I know what the per hour rate for a lawyer is. Think 30 minutes free
$100
consultation every
yeah.
month.
No, right.
Right? It's
Yeah.
incredible. Pays
No.
for itself.
And I know the people, and they're so welcoming to talk, and everybody, like you said, has a positive attitude, looking out for your members.
Absolutely.
So we have about a minute left. Anything else you want to say?
No, I just want to say, look, I like to start positive and end positive, and I'm a realist in between. New Jersey is awesome. Again, I'm a Jersey girl through and through.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you have a state that has the assets that we have? That very well talented pool of candidates, right?
Yes.
140 miles of pristine shoreline that is a tourist destination. Atlantic City coming back. Our transportation system, albeit in need of repair, still ranks among the best in the nation in terms of your ability to get through and to somewhere.
Sure.
The north, the south, the
Absolutely.
east, and the
Yeah.
west.
Philadelphia, New York, we've got access to everywhere. Maryland does.
Absolutely. I mean, we're smack dab between D.C. and Boston, and smack dab between Philly and New York. It doesn't get any better than that.
And it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful state. We need to bask in our assets, and that's why companies are attracted to come here. But we have to be sure that we balance it out on the other side by being responsible with what we require and command of those companies when they get here.
Well, thanks for overseeing all of that. We know that we can trust you to pull it off. So
Thanks for the opportunity
thanks
to spend
again.
time with you.
It's so good to see you.
Same here.
It's always great to see Michele. I hope you guys can follow her along. We'll look forward to having her again next year. I'm Jeannie Murphy. Again, this is Talented People, and have a great week.